Okay, today it's a review for the probability test. This is not the end of probability. This is just probability part A. This is the easy part of probability. All right, so one of the things that people have trouble with is if I give them a Venn diagram and I say this is A and I say this is B, some of them have trouble with the whole, like, okay, what is A intersect B versus A union B versus what about not A intersect B? Those kind of really confuse people. And then how about what if I say only B or B only? Do you know what that means? So we're going to look over those kinds of things just to see if we understand which parts we're talking about. I am going to put numbers in here. 4, 1, 3, and there are 7 people in the not either one category. Okay, so let's make this aardvarks and bananas. These are people who have seen an aardvark and people who have a banana at home. And if there's only one person who has seen an aardvark and has a banana at home, apparently, whereas there are 4 people who have seen aardvarks but haven't got a banana at home, okay? And then how about the 3 people? They've got bananas at home, but they've never seen an aardvark. And there's 7 people that have never seen an aardvark and don't have a banana at home. Okay, so that's kind of what the areas mean. So then my question for you is this. Let's see how good you are at this right off the bat. What is the probability? Well, wait a minute. If it's going to be probability, don't I need what the total is? Yeah, you do. Okay, because it will sometimes depend. If I say given, it'll change what it's out of, but I need to know what it's out of. Do you get there's a total of 15 here? I'd put it in the upper left-hand corner of the diagram, and then I would put a box around it like that. All right, so now what's the probability of not A intersect B? Whew, it's going to blow some people away. Not A intersect B. This is the toughest one. I'm just bringing the big lumber right off the bat. Not A intersect B. All right, so right off the bat, let's just see if you get what not A means. Well, what is A? This is A and this is A, so those are not what I mean when I say A with a little dash. A with a little dash is these 2 guys. Now, is that the answer to the question, 10 out of 15? No. Okay, I now have to intersect. You have to know that that means intersect or like overlap with the B ones. I'm going to use green to circle the things that are B. Now, some people think that's the only one that is B, but that's B, but so is this. So now, if I wanted to do a union question, it would have been the 1, the 3, and the 7. But I'm doing an intersect, which means where do they overlap? And where did they overlap at? The 3. So the final answer was 3, but then that can't be a probability. 3 isn't the probability because you can't go more than 1, right? So it has to be 3 divided by something. Did I ever say given here? No. So then it's 3 out of everything, which is 3 out of 15. All right, now I worked that one through with you. Final answer, 3 out of 15. Now you can ask me questions. Yes? Well, hold on. Let's just clarify. This means A and this didn't say A and B. This said not A and B. There's a big difference between not A and B. Let me just ask, let's see what the question would have been if it had just been A and B. It would be totally different than this. Okay, then if I said A and B, get that answer. It's going to be totally different. A and B. Remember, are ands big answers or small answers? Small. And if you're having trouble with the and thing, here's what I would do. Are you A and B? And then the context of this question would be, are you one of the people that's seen an aardvark and has a banana? And they would say no. You can ask each one of them until you find the people that say yes. Have you seen the aardvark and have a banana? And they would say yes. And you're like, oh, then you're the one I wanted. That's it. Those are the only ones that satisfy A and B. That's different than A union B. That would be a totally different thing. This is A and B, which is like A intersect B. That's A intersect B, and it's just that one. And is the probability 1? No, it's 1 out of 15. Raise your hand if you would have had that one right. Okay, good. Now, question? Okay, now I'm going to go to A union B. Whole different thing. Union is like and or. Which one's this one like? This one's like or. Are you A or B? Yeah, I'm A. Are you A or B? Yeah, I'm actually A and B. Are you A or B? Yeah, I'm a B. Okay, so then all three of those. So final answer, 8 out of 15. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, good. Again, the knots are what really mess people up. Let's try another one with a knot. Knot A, union B. Notice union is the big answer. Knot A, union B. Highlight these. Don't just think about it. Highlight the ones you think are this. Highlight the ones you think are that. I see a hat that needs to go. Now it's only a hat. There used to be hats, but now it's hat. All right. Remember, the union, it's like arms up in the air like this, like a U, right? And it's like, hey, everybody can come. It's not actually everybody, otherwise it would be 15 out of 15, but it's a big group. So what's this big group made up of? Well, B, that part's simple. Okay, B is, I will circle them in blue, these guys. Those are Bs. They got invites automatically without even looking at what not A is. They get to come. They're in the answer. They're part of the answer. Why? Because a union is a big answer. It's anybody who got invited by either one of these groups, this or this, either one, they get to come. So these guys, that's the Bs. Okay? How about the not As? The not As are these people. I'll circle them in red. This is a not A, and so are these people out here. They're not A. So now some people, I know you've been trained to look for the one that overlaps. It's not what we want this time. And so much of math, it is that. Like, it's like, where does this graph intersect this graph? It's where they cross. Well, this isn't that. This is a union. It's all of the things I circled. So 1, 3, and 7, making a total of 11 out of 15. Raise your hand if you had 11 out of 15. Okay, the knots get people. I know. Did you get? How about this? Just make sure that people get what not even means. So we'll do a really, really simple one. What is the probability of not B? Just not B. The things that are not in B. Would you just circle the ones that are not in B? A lot of people see these. Yeah, those are not in B. But these are also not in B. You should have circled the 4 and the 7. The final answer would be the 4 and the 7, which makes a total of 11 out of 15. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, good. That's quite different than this question, which is only B. It's a thing. You got to know that one. Only B. That's different than B. Just B would be two things. Only B is more exclusive. Did you get I was talking about that one? And therefore it's 3 out of 15. Okay, you're getting close to where you could take your little quiz on this in class with a partner in a second. The real test is tomorrow. This is just a quiz. All right. Everybody wants Peyton. You don't get to pick. I get to pick where she goes. All right. So anyway, ready? One more. See if we can handle this. Not A intersect not B. That's about as tough as they get. Not A. Intersect means like overlap. Not B. I'll pause. We try that one. Okay. So here's not A. Do you get that those two are not A? They're not A. Now here's not B. This is not in B. And this is not in B. And is this the kind where anybody who got an invitation gets to be in the big group? No, that'd be a union. This is the intersect. It's like, where did they overlap? Which was the 7. Final answer, 7 out of 15. Who had that one right?
I have that one.
All right, sweet. Question was, why wouldn't it be what? Okay. Okay, stop for a second. So the question was, what about the 1 there? Okay, so I'm asking you, did it get an invitation from not A? No, because it is part of A. So it didn't get invited by these guys. How about the 1 when it comes to the not B? Well, it's in B also. So they didn't get an invitation from these guys either. So they just got left out. They're not in the group at all. They never got invited by anybody. And this is the kind, intersect is the kind where you have to have both of them want you. They're both inviting you. They're both overlapping on you. The 1 isn't in either one. I get you're thinking it's an overlap. It's an overlap of A and B, not A and not B. Now, I know, it's confusing. All right, so we need to take that little quiz now. It's like we just did there. Nothing new besides that. And then we're going to talk about the more tricky stuff after that. All right, pause for a second while you take this little quiz. All right, so question number 1 on their quiz, and I'm going to show you the answers for those that are at home to make sure you understand how to do this, was probability of A. And this is A and this is B, and it should have looked like that. How many of you are grading one where they had that one right? Raise your hand if you did. Okay, good. They did throw you some pretty softball, easy ones at the beginning here. Number 2 is the probability of B. And again, if this is A and this is B, of course, both of those are B. If they only wanted it to be that one, the right side of it, they would have said B only, which is a different thing. All right, moving on to number 3. On number 3, it should look like this. And the question was probability of A intersect, is the way I like to say it, B. You can say it and. A and B also works. Okay. Number 4 was probability of A union B, also known as OR, and ORs are big answers, so notice it's all of those things being shaded. How many of you are grading a perfect paper so far? Okay, well, those were the easy ones. So now we get into number 5, which is still relatively easy, but a lot of people have trouble with not. Oh, I messed up. Number 5 is actually already here, right here. This is not A. Notice it's like A is like the sun and the rays of sun escaping all around, except it's a green sun, apparently. I don't think they actually exist. Probability of not A. Okay, number 6 is probability of B only. Number 7 is where you really get to see if people really understand this stuff. On number 7, the question was, sorry, hold on, probability of B naught. Do you get B naught is like the green shading? It's every place that's not in the B circle. And then there's the A shading, that's the red shading. And then it's a union, that means anything that got shaded is included. We're not looking for where they overlap. Yes? No. This is not a both sides have to invite it. This is a union. Union is the kind where anybody who gets an invite is included. If I was doing intersect, that would obviously be a totally different answer. This was a union question. It's easy to get backwards and frustrated. I get that. Yes? Just to clarify, just so we know, how many of you had to mark number 7 wrong? Raise your hand if you did. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids is not that bad out of a room of 30. I know it's still frustrating for those 8 kids, but yes? If they didn't, yeah, there's no partial credit on this. This is either right or wrong. Okay, moving on to number 8. On number 8, the question was probability of A only, and it said or, so that's a big answer. So everybody who got invited is in the answer, A only or B only. Question on that? All right. And then last but not least, number 9, a common, it is the shaded around the outside, but that does not get any credit by itself. Just shading around the outside is not the real question. It's the right and equivalent probability expression that would result in the same region. This one would work. If they have it shaded properly and that answer, then they're good. There could be other answers that are right, and I'm willing to entertain the possibility. If you think your kid has been pretty sharp, got most of them right, and has it shaded around the outside and they've got an answer, I'll check it for you. But don't ask me about the green one, because I guarantee you the green one does not work. You want to know why the green one doesn't work? Okay. It comes down to not A. I'll show you in red what not A would be. It's kind of like the sun, where A is like the sun, you know. That's not A is red. And then it's got to be unioned with, which means that everybody got an invite gets to come. Do you get already this area right in here has been shaded, and therefore it's going to be in the answer? It got shaded. I know, but this is a union, so everybody can come. You keep doing the deal where they have to be double shaded. It's not always that way. Only double shaded is necessary. Double shading is only necessary if it's one of that kind. I bet you got every U problem wrong because you were thinking that they were intersect problems, which I get. That's a big difference. This is what caused the answer to be wrong. Okay, so how many of you just got or just graded one that was a 7 or an 8? Raise your hand if you did. Awesome. But those are all going to get A's. So yay, that's not bad. The one wrong at this point is not bad. Tomorrow's the real thing. Okay, get it back to the owner if you haven't already. I'll pause while we do that. Okay, now we got to get to the most important part. That was just terminology of what does not A mean and what does not B mean and that kind of stuff. What we got to make sure that you understand also is how to do conditional probabilities. So this is a chart that's already all made up, and OT stands for on time versus late. Let's say that I am on time 95% of the time, and I am late 5% of the time. Do you get how this is set up so far? Then, if I am on time, and I get to my door 80% of the time, I'm going to have a kid come in that morning, okay? 20% of the time, there'll not be a kid there, all right? Well, the probability doesn't change whether I'm on time or not. 80% of the time, there's a kid that wants help. It's just whether I'm on time or not. So this 80-20 stayed the same on this chart. So let's say we gave you this chart. Do you get how I got the 0.76? Discuss with your partner. How did the 0.76 happen? All right, if you said 0.95 times 0.8, you are right. That's how that happened. Okay, good. Now, here's a couple of questions that involve given, which changes, and it's not just, like here's an easy question that doesn't involve given. What's the probability I'm on time and there's not a kid there? This is an easy one. Don't overthink this. What's the probability I'm on time and there was not a kid there? 19. You just have to find that one. And what you're really doing is dividing by everything that was possible, but everything that was possible adds up to 1. So 19 divided by 1, it's still 19%. Okay. Now here's one where I'm going to change it to only some things are possible. All right, if I say there was a kid there this morning, let's say my colleague walks by and says there was a kid there this morning at your room, what's the probability that I was on time? Given there was a kid there, what's the probability that I was on time? I'm going to pause for a second, let you discuss it. Remember, it's what you want over what's possible. And what's possible just changed because I said there was a kid there. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, here we go. Remember, I tell you guys to always figure out what's possible first. And since I said there was a kid there, then it had to be this one was possible and that one was possible. So those two are on the bottom added together. Raise your hand if you figured that out. If you knew that part. Okay, good. Then, what was the thing I wanted? I wanted to know if, what was the probability I would be what? On time. Now remember, there's some of you are going to say, well, both of these are you being on time. But this one of these isn't possible. Only one of those was possible because I said there was a kid there. So it had to be that one. So final answer, 0.76 over 0.76 plus 0.04. And it does come out to be that. Okay. Next, let's do another one that's based on a Venn. 1, 3, 2, and 7 people. This is an aardvark. That's a banana. My question is, what's the probability? Okay, I saw a story about a photographer who won the photography contest with a picture of an aardvark that was at an anthill, and it was actually not ants. It was what do they eat more of? They eat termites. And these termites were a special glow-in-the-dark termite. So talk about an awesome shot. He's got, in the dark, he's got the termites glowing on the termite hive, and he's got the aardvark there, and the stars in the sky, and it was just an amazing shot. He won the contest, and then they took it away from him because they figured out he used a stuffed aardvark. It's much easier to get the stuffed aardvark shot than the real aardvark eating the glow-in-the-dark termites. I mean, that's a shot you just never get, right? Well, he just made it happen by using a stuffed aardvark. They found the stuffed aardvark, and since it had tufts of hair in certain places, they were able to match it up and say, yup, same exact aardvark. Yeah, he faked it. So they took away his prize. It's really sad because it was like a big prize, very prestigious, but no, it got taken away. Reminds me a little bit of the fishermen who caught a huge fish and then they found out later that they had started fishing before the contest was actually going to start, like only by a few minutes, but they were able to bust them on having been fishing before the contest was supposed to start. They lost the whole prize because they caught it on that first, like dropped the hook down, caught it right away. Contest hadn't started yet, took away the prize, and that was a really high dollar prize. So there's people who cheat, sadly. All right. I'd like you to figure out probability of not aardvark intersect banana. Remember, this is a total of 13 because I can add 7, 2, 3, and 1. Pause for a second. This is just like what you just did on the sheet, except you actually have to divide them and get a decimal. Pause for a second. Let me try that. Okay. Get your final guesses down. Would you agree that these two are not A? Yes. All right. Would you agree that these two are B? Yes. Does this mean the kind where they need to overlap and intersect? Yes. All right. So they both need an invitation from both things to get in the group. And so the answer is 2. But 2 out of what? 2 out of 13. Raise your hand if you had 2 out of 13. Okay, good. All right. Now, I'm going to do one that's a given. Givens, change the denominator. Notice, last time we divided by 13. This time, if I say given, you will not be dividing by 13. Okay? Unless I said something weird like given that everything could happen. Well, and then it's divided by 13, but that's not what we usually do. Given B, what's the probability of A? Probability of A given B. I'll pause while you work that one out. Notice it's not out of 13 anymore. Pause while you try it. You guys are done, so here we go. As soon as I said given B, these are the only two things that are possible. That's not possible, that's not possible. So if you ever use the 7 or the 1, you screwed up. Okay, so now based on those two numbers, probability of A, that's the only thing that has A attached to it that's left. I know some of you were tempted to use that 1. It wasn't possible. Okay, so then it's just 3 out of, and how many were there? 3 plus 2 is 5. 3 out of 5. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, good. Let's try one more with the given and the Venn diagram. This one is going to torture some of you. What's the probability of not A given not B? This is as tough as they can possibly be. Just hold on. I got to pause for a second. Okay. In my opinion, you do the given part first. Given not B means this is not B. This is not B. Those are the only two things possible. Given not B. That's out, that's out. That's the way I would recommend doing it on your test too, because then you won't by accident. Biggest mistake is using the 3 there in your answer when you can't. Because if I given that it was not B, it had to be those two things. Now, just between those two, well, what's possible? I can already tell what's possible is 1 plus 7. There is 8 things possible. Now, what do I want? Not A. Of the numbers that are left, which one is not A? 7 out of 1 plus 7, so 7 out of 8. Take it one little step at a time. Start with the denominator, what's possible. Cross off the things that aren't possible. Then you only had 2 numbers. Once you get it down to just 2 numbers, most kids can get it. All right. So I'll end with one that isn't so brutal. Let's take a kind of a normalish one. Let's say that I'm going to go back to one of my charts that I already have so I don't have to make a new one. Let's use this one. What is the probability that either I was on time and there was a kid there, or I was late and there was not a kid there? Either this or that. Remember, or makes bigger answers. I was either on time and there was a kid there, or I was late and there was not a kid there. Both of those are kind of like my best case scenarios. I'm on time, and there's a kid there, and then they know I was on time, and it all works out great. I can help them. Or if I am late, I'm really happy if there was not a kid here. By the way, I'm not saying these are actually real percentages and actually based on me, because of course I'm here 100% of the time on time. Mr. Erickson, I'm sure you know that if you're listening to this. Okay, so anyway, did you get that that was either on time with a kid, which is this one, or, and what does or mean? You add it, it's going to be a bigger answer, so I got to add it to it, and late not, and that would be here, and put them together, and you got 77%. Raise your hand if you had the 77. Okay, good. Okay. So, you have extra practice problems, you just won't have me directing it. They're a worksheet that's got an answer key. One kid has said that the answer key was not posted, but I'm pretty sure it's there. Just hold on. Did anybody look and find that it was there? Hold on. Why are some kids saying it's not there? Because you found it, right?
Oh, it's definitely there.
It's definitely there. You sure? You're positive?
All 3 4 pages.
Okay.
I would love for you.
So I don't understand why some people are saying it's not there. Just like refresh your iPad or something, because.
I'm checking.
Okay, hold on. Has anybody actually seen the answer key? Because now there was a misunderstanding back there. Is it not in your hour? Okay, then I will get that fixed. I will put up the answer key right now. Those quizzes I want you to keep for now, and I will get the scores from you later, but I think it's good for you to study off of. So take it with you, and you can turn it in on a future day. That's all I have for the video.